Hello everyone, it is yet another big week for Pixar and animation fans, with the 30th feature film release coming from the studio as Hoppers is set to hit theaters this coming Friday. I was able to catch an early screening of Hoppers this past weekend, and while I'm obviously going to avoid going too far into discussing plot points and story details, obviously no spoilers here, I'd love to give some overall thoughts about this one and discuss how I think it may fare for the general public. Going in, obviously I love the films of Pixar. I'm always super invested in what this studio is cooking up, and this one was of course no exception. I had watched a little bit of We Bare Bears when it first was coming out, but I made sure to do a full watch through of the series when I found out Daniel Chong was working on a project of this caliber for Pixar. And while there are some similarities mainly coming from a comedy standpoint, Hoppers is really able to stand out on its own, also serving as a unique and welcome addition to Pixar's feature film canon. This film is very funny. They are constantly throwing out visual and dialogue-based comedy, and it constantly takes advantage of that animated medium in doing so, which is always fun to see. Being Pixar, it's a given that the animation is top-notch. The film plays very much into nature, so we get to see a lot of natural, vibrant textures and colors all throughout those scenes. Based on the marketing that I'd seen, I thought that a lot had been shown off already, but they really did save a lot for the big screen. There were plenty of surprises that I didn't see coming, those of which that were super fun to experience with a crowded theater. I'm really hoping this is able to catch on so others can experience that same first viewing that I did. We were introduced to a large ensemble of characters which builds up the animal world. And while it's clear that the internet already loves Tom, I'm really excited to see who else audiences gravitate towards. I definitely did love King George a whole lot by the end of that movie. There was a lot of great world building here. I think using beavers as the central force of this movie was a really smart idea, since I know they were tinkering around with some different options there. The script is really smart and snappy with the characters and the setting constantly being enriched. The voice acting was of course strong across the board here. Piper Curda as Mabel was given a whole lot to do, and she did a really great job at selling it. And seeing Meryl Streep in a Pixar cast still is really crazy to me. There are so many standout scenes that I can't wait to see again, and I hope to see people making it out to the theater for a Pixar original again. I know viewing habits have changed a whole lot for many, but every one of their releases still feels like a big event to me. I've seen many online stating that this feels like old Pixar, and by that I'm guessing that they mean the pre-2010s releases, and I think that they're generally pulling from the aspect that these are all talking animals with their own society, as that kind of gives into the whole what if blank had feelings perception of the studio from back in the day. But in reality, like I said, this film is unique. It brings a whole new type of energy that is exciting to see from Pixar, and we'll have to see how critics and audiences feel about that. Many are happy to see a change in human character designs, moving away from the bean mouth aesthetic, I suppose, but I've always seen that as a bad faith criticism. In reality, there are elements in Hoppers and scenes that could play out in many different films in Pixar's catalog, notwithstanding to one era. And you'll even spot Easter eggs that cover the board on many films in here as well. On my next watch, I'll have to look even closer because I'm sure there's a lot I missed. I'm expecting this to end up somewhere in the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'd expect it to have some pretty strong word of mouth, from what I've been seeing from these early screenings at least. It looks to have a stronger word of mouth than a lot of recent Pixar originals, and I'm intrigued to see where this takes the studio. They've been marketing this movie quite heavily, and it seems they're quite confident in it, as they should be. Hoppers has all of March before any direct competition with the Super Mario Galaxy movie releasing in April. And in that time it has access to a lot of premium format screens, which is a lot more than Elio and even Elemental got. So I really think this could be a sleeper hit. A lot of that could just come down to wishful thinking though. Pixar obviously has a big year with the release of Toy Story 5 in just a few months, which is sure to be a massive blockbuster, but I do hope that Hoppers doesn't go forgotten anytime soon, as it yet again proves to the world what master storytelling is done over at Pixar, with films with poignant messaging that can be watched and are watched by any and all audiences. I am very impressed with what the team here cooked up. I love seeing Daniel Chong's trajectory at Pixar and within the animation industry, and I'm super interested in seeing what he does next, whether it's sticking around at Pixar or elsewhere. He does seem to be a very strong creative voice in the industry. While many of you have already seen it and many more are hopefully planning on seeing it in the next few weeks, Please let me know what you think of Hoppers down below, and please try to avoid spoilers or at least anything that has not been featured in the marketing thus far. What are some of the standouts for you all? What characters did you like? And I guess, do you want to see Hoppers 2? Why not be the first to throw that one out? I'd like to thank you all for tuning in. As always, please consider hitting that subscribe button if you enjoy seeing videos about Pixar and the general animation industry. I'm sure to have more videos coming down the pipeline as we speak. And I'll see you all in the next one. Seriously, everyone, go check out Hoppers. Goodbye.